has enabled this Christian philosophy to survive the frightful attacks made upon it. It was by faith that the Christian religion was established, and that Christ's teaching survived the determination of the great Roman Empire, then at the zenith of its power to crush them. Just picture the enormous disproportion between that little band of Christ and his followers and the great Roman Empire, which was determined to destroy them. Yet that mighty empire crumbled while Christ's teachings endure, and the religion he established spreads to every remotest corner of the earth. Think of the first little company of the early Christians, unarmed, unaided, pitted against the power of ancient Rome, persecuted, thrown into the arena in the Colosseum, to be torn to pieces by wild animals, dipped in tar and used as torches to light up the lake in front of Nero's palace. They suffered without a murmur. What enabled these men and women to persist against such enormous odds? A mighty faith which no power on earth could shake. Think you the early Christian martyrs could have gone serenely to the stake and could have declared their faith without a sign of wavering, even when the flames were licking the flesh from their bones, without that supreme faith which savored of divinity? Who could ever enumerate the miracles which faith has wrought in human history? It was through faith that greatest discoveries and inventions were made. The sufferings, the sacrifices, the years of painful, heartbreaking waiting, which hundreds of inventors had to endure, are beyond all human comprehension. Their superhuman endurance was made possible simply because of their faith in their own power to achieve, their loyalty to a voice which spoke from the great within of them, a voice which others could not understand or appreciate. It has always been just in proportion to man's loyalty to this voice, this faith which is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, the prophecy of possible reality, that he has succeeded in accomplishing great things. It has ever been this supreme faith which has, little by little, lifted the race from the Hottentot to the higher civilization of today. We do not understand the nature of this marvelous faith at all. Those who have it in a remarkable degree simply follow it. They obey the voice as Joan of Arc obeyed her voices, the God urge within them, which always leads its followers to a goal which not only lifts him, but lifts the race with him to greater heights. Mankind has climbed to its present height upon the steps of faith. But while there is only now and then one who is willing to follow the voice of his soul, the faith that calls to him to advance, especially if it leads through trials and hardships and all sorts of deprivations, that voice haunts us all. There is some discovery, some invention, some possible improvement of humanity prophesied in every human being. There is not one of us that cannot do something toward lifting the race a little higher if we only obey the call of God. The lack of self-confidence, of a vigorous faith in one's mission, is a weak link in most lives. The most difficult thing in the world is to make human beings believe in their own bigness, the grandeur of their mission, in the sublimity of their possibilities. And the greatest service that can be rendered a human being is to help him to discover his possibilities. For this establishes his faith, inspires him to pursue his ambition. When a man gets a glimpse of the enormous power locked up in his nature, he will not doubt again. His faith is established, and he will never rest until he thought and life. A soul-consuming faith has ever been the power which has moved things in the world, which has built up all of the great religions, the new philosophies. It has been the fundamental principle of all human development, of all great achievement. Faith is emphasized more than almost any other thing all the way through the Bible. Accomplished his marvelous work. It was by faith that Moses led the children of Israel through the wilderness. All the prophets in the Old Testament are constant, and all others were faith and belief. These seem to be magic words. They carried a tremendous force, more powerful than electricity. The Savior constantly reiterated the might of faith, the power of belief. Be not afraid, only believe. Be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid, according to thy faith. This is the burden of his message to his chosen 12. And how often he had to reprove them for their lack of faith, their timidity, their fear, their unbelief. Again and again, when they failed to accomplish that which he sent them out to do, he reproached them. Why are ye so fearful? Why is it that ye have no faith? Than he was doing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Heal the sick, which is the sublime of man. If you're deficient in this great motor power, which accomplishes things, which builds superb, masterful characters, you can make good your lack. You can supply your deficiency by daily auto-suggestive treatment for this acquisition, or the strengthening of this greatest and most necessary of all human traits, faith.